we're back with Greenberg News and your host, Brian Greeberg of WNJC 1360 AM. And going in, as we were just chatting earlier, wrapping up 20 years in broadcasting here on Greenberg News on WNJC 1360. We have with us next Bob Caporale. Did I get your name right? Caporale?
It's kind of close. Caporale.
Caporale. All right. Bob Caporale wears many hats. He spent his career developing strategies for products and businesses. Also an accomplished keyboardist, composer, and songwriter. His new book, Creative Strategy Generation, Using Passion and Creativity to Compose Business Strategies that Inspire Action and Growth. It's a long title, Bob. I'm just between you and I.
I know.
Bob explores the connection between composing music and composing successful business strategies. Bob, welcome to Greenberg News.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Just a little FYI, I would shorten that title if you could. I mean, maybe like an acronym, like Cisco or whatever, or Cisco or something like that.
Business people like to have long titles. They feel like they're getting more for their money, I think. So
were they paying you by the word or something there?
It could be. I don't know.
If that's what your publisher does, then hey, go for it. But I gotta whatever. Anyway, so now you're an accomplished keyboardist. Did you play with like the Doors or Led Zeppelin or somebody?
Yeah, not quite that accomplished.
No, you're semi-accomplished, but
maybe a little more accomplished in my own mind. So it was really
it's okay as long as in your own mind you hit the notes. That's all that matters.
That's right. Kind of a dream, right? One of those things. I always did it in high school. Played a lot of bands through college and so forth. Wanted to be the rock star kind of a thing. But went into the business world. Continued doing music as a hobby, and I continued to do some pretty cool things on the side. Create some soundtracks for corporate videos and internet soundtracks, and even got time to write a musical somewhere along the way. Although it's never been on Broadway. So
that wasn't Tommy. That wasn't you.
No, that wasn't me, unfortunately.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got the right guy we're talking to here.
Yep.
So tell me about this. So, what kind of background do you have, or how did you use your, what kind of work did you design and all that stuff?
So in business, I started out in the utility business, working for power utilities, that type of thing. Started out designing, believe it or not, electric substations, which was actually more interesting than you might think. But then pretty quickly moved into marketing and sales, and eventually into general management, where I was always responsible for developing strategies. And so I spent the better part of 20 years really developing product portfolio strategies, mostly for business to business, kind of the electrical industry, that type of thing. And then moved into eventually becoming a trainer and advisor and consultant, which is what I do today.
So, all right. So now you were so what's this connection? You write like I know nothing about music, by the way, and you'd never want to even hear me. Well, I can speak okay, but you never want to hear me utter any note or attempt to utter a note, because that's I would blow out all the listeners. It would not be a pleasant scene. So that's why I was a little concerned with kind of taking you on, because I'm so beyond tone deaf. Although I do have the ability to appreciate good music. I mean, that's sort of what I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Not that means anything, but I just can't utter it, in any form.
Well, don't worry. That's actually exactly the audience I'm going for, because many people in business, they are, some of them have musical backgrounds, of course, but it's not really the target for the book. The target is people who are in business trying to go through the day-to-day, task of creating product strategies, portfolio strategies. Most of them don't have musical backgrounds, but they can appreciate music and appreciate the analogy, which is really what I'm trying to go for.
So that's okay. So how does one so I should start humming and then the next day put together a business plan or something, or what are you getting at here?
Kind of close.
Because if we're doing that, I think there's a long way between the kiss and the baby, as they say.
Yeah, that actually wouldn't make much of a book either. So.
No, exactly. So I'm just coming at you with my very narrow assessment of what you're trying to do here.
So I'll kind of give it to you in the simple form is that you go into business, people are creating business strategies, and a lot of people don't see it as the most exciting task that they could ever take on, quite honestly. And so what I'm trying to do is say, listen, when you're in business, it's not all about numbers and data and that type of thing. There's a lot of creativity that you can infuse into it, and if you can think about creating a business strategy the same way you would think about writing a song or even painting a picture or anything like that, infuse some of your own creativity and your own ideas into things, it's going to be a lot more fun for you. And so that's really what I tried to do. It's not a traditional business book. It goes through step by step on how to create a strategy, but it makes all these different analogies that people can tie into that I don't think has really been done before.
Yeah, so what's the first step that one should do? So I get what you're getting at about being creative and all that, because you should use your brain. That's what it's there for. It's not there to just to watch TV.
That's exactly right. No, well, the first step, a lot of people think about creativity. They think, well, like yourself, you say you're not a musician, so I don't know where you think that musicians' ideas comes from. But a lot of people that don't play an instrument might think that, hey, it just kind of strikes them like a lightning bolt. Like all of a sudden one day they wake up and they're writing songs, and it's absolutely not that way at all. You spend many, many years learning your instrument, learning theory, learning how different styles go together. And all of those baselines is really where your new ideas come from. So it's founded in something that other people have done before. So the first place to start is really understand kind of what you want to do, and then learn about that foundational knowledge. Whether that's in business or in music, it's the same thing. So I call that the preparation step. That's kind of the first place that you start. And a lot of people don't think that that's where you start, but it is.
Well, I think that makes sense in whatever you're doing, in that, if you're going to break out into business or break out into, developing a concept, you better have some insight into what you're trying to fix or change.
That's exactly right. And a lot of you see a lot of books on creativity, a lot of people talking on creativity, and it's almost like people are trying to find that magic pill. Everyone's looking for the magic pill,
right,
that can cure everything. Well, I'm going to be creative if I just do this or that. And really, it's not that difficult of a formula. If you start to understand some foundational knowledge, really, hone your skills, that's where new ideas come from. It's based in what you already know. And so there's work that's involved in that. Not everybody wants to do it, but that's what's required.
Not everybody, I would say about 98% of the people don't. Isn't that the 2% entrepreneurs? They're the ones who want to do it and the rest don't. Am I right, or what?
Yeah, it probably is something like that. I don't know that I've ever studied it, but it sounds about right to me. So...
Now, but you were an employee in the corporate world, or before you went into consulting, is that correct? Or
yeah. 20 years I spent, doing things from being a product manager to, being in charge of various different marketing and business functions, R&D functions, all the way up to being a president of a small business unit for a large corporation. So yeah, definitely paid my dues in the corporate world before I went off and became a consultant.
So it's now. Because I failed at the corporate world. I didn't get it. You have to be nice to people, and people you don't respect. I couldn't handle all that. So it was not for me. Yeah. So when they ask you is, so how did you make the transition from? How did you decide to leave the corporate world and go on your own? Because being there 20 years, that's a long incubator to all of a sudden be able to break out. Did you use your musical aptitude in this process?
Yeah, well, so I think that was part of it. When I was in the corporate world, I always did music on the side. And quite honestly, I kind of hit it, It was one of those things that I didn't feel like it was something I wanted to advertise in my corporate jobs and that type of thing. So it was this kind of thing I always wanted to have a little more freedom and flexibility. But quite honestly, I stayed in the corporate world by and large because, I enjoyed it, but it was also pretty secure, right? Now that I'm out on my own, have my own business and that type of thing, there's a lot involved, a lot of risk involved, a lot of things that people don't always appreciate, and so I think that's probably why I stayed so long and why I was hesitant to move, because it's a big leap. But now that I've done it and I have the flexibility I want, and you realize nothing's so scary, right? It's great for me anyway.
Well, I think the thing is that once you really understand, if you're work as an employee with one company, there's really far greater risk being an employee with one company than having many customers. And if you lose a customer, you still got a company. You lose, your employer goes out of business, you're out of a job. You have no income.
Yeah,
so if anything, I think there's far greater risk in the corporate world than there is on your own.
I honestly, I have to tell you, like 10 years ago, I would have never had that mindset. I didn't have that mindset. Now, I have to tell you, I feel more secure in my job than I've ever felt in my life, because it's in my control. If things aren't going so well, go out and find new business, find new ways to sell your products and do things that you're in control of, rather than, have someone else kind of be in control of your career for you. And so, yeah, but I don't think everyone always makes that leap. I know I didn't. and now I can see it, but it wasn't so easy to see, 10, 15 years ago.
So let me ask you then. So who are your clients? Who do you market to, and who do you advise, and all that?
Oh, all kinds of large corporations. Too many to name, right? But I'm with a company called Sequent Learning Network, so you can go on the site and kind of check it out. But yeah, I mean, clients from big to small, right? Fortune, 100, 500, all the way down to startup companies. So just about everybody you can imagine.
Well, that's a large gamut.
It is, and the reason is because a lot of what we do is training classes. So we train product management classes and strategy classes. So, a lot of different companies come to those. We teach them in a public forum as well. So literally, hundreds, maybe thousands of companies have gone through our programs and that type of thing. So it's a lot.
Oh, God bless you. That's quite an ordeal for you to go from one to the other. But let me ask you, which do you find more rewarding? What type of advisory role do you find more rewarding? This large company or small startup or in between? Or obviously the ones that are most rewarding, the ones who can pay your invoice. That's clearly rewarding. But the next step.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there is that, right? But I kind of look at it, I think, the way you originally intended it, which is what do you enjoy more? And, I mean, at the risk of sounding too broad, I really do like all of it. Each one has different challenges, and different types of personalities. What I really like is to kind of see the different type of personalities that are involved in, let's say, a startup company versus the corporate world. And it's all different. What I really enjoy is helping people, right? When I can kind of get them to see things a different way or see things a way that they hadn't seen them before. Mm-hmm. That's what really drives me. So, and you can see that in any size company. It's really kind of cool.
Very nice. So getting back to your approach here. So I'm just curious what you go through and how you implement this whole music thing when you're hired to do, consulting and coaching and all. How do you integrate that into your process?
So, it's not as direct as you might think, because even the book, when you look at the book is really, by and large, a step-by-step guide to developing a strategy. So I, kind of introduce people to theories that have been around for quite some time. Just make sure they have the steps in putting together a strategic presentation. A lot of books don't really cover that. They cover strategy from kind of a high level. So I'm kind of giving people a template, so to speak, that they can use. And what I really do is I use the music as a way to that people can relate to. How do you come up with new ideas, and how do you think of things creatively, and how do you think of things in a unique way? And so I use these kind of music analogies throughout the book and references so that people can grab onto that concept. And that's how I incorporate it into the teaching too. I'll use it as examples. I'll use it as a way just to illustrate what I'm trying to say, rather than get up and play a keyboard or something like that. You
don't do a riff.
No. We haven't evolved to that yet. I mean, maybe someday. I don't know. Maybe that's my secret. My secret agenda.
It sounds like a Disney movie or something, or that you got going on there, or like a musical or whatever.
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, the whole concept and everything, there was a little bit of a selfish motivation to it, because, kind of being able to more freely express this musical part of things in this business world is kind of cool. So I do have some plans in my head as to how I can make it a little bit more of a direct correlation. But for now, I'm staying pretty close to the business world and what people would expect. So
I understand you want to keep it conservative. Is that what you're saying? I think you're being too cautious. I think you need to, really just go all in.
Maybe it's true. I am being a little bit too conservative, maybe, but slow. I take baby steps into being a rock star. I still have time. We'll see.
Well, it's like anything else. You just got to, but I think life is short. If you really think that this could be effective, then what's holding you back from doing that?
No, nothing really. I mean, it's really a matter of. The book has just been out a month, so you're giving me a little time, but
okay. But life is short. Why? That was the genius of Steve Jobs. That he just said if it needs upgraded and this helps it, then you do it.
It's true.
If you see something in your process that that can help what you're doing, then you do it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, and you may just be inspiring me to next time. Next class I do, I'm going to be in full out leather and.
Yeah, I think you go business, but then you go into your musical thing, and then really people would be totally confused because they wouldn't know how to. Because everyone has all these preconceived perceptions. If you're doing A, then you should look like this, and C, and all that. Then you're just falling in line with what's done before. Just do what you want to do.
It's true. What's cool is I just did a keynote speech not too long ago, and I incorporated some of my own music into it to illustrate one of these points. So generally I talk about things, but in this case I played one of the songs, and I said, here it is, and see it. And I have to tell you, it went over so well, because all of a sudden people were making the connection, and they were coming up to me afterwards and of course complimenting the song, but more than that, they felt like I had connected with them in some way, and that is the most effective thing that a facilitator can do, right? So
absolutely, that's in life. When you connect with somebody, it's the most powerful thing.
Absolutely. So definitely look for more of that. I'm definitely planning on a lot more of that type of thing, because it was very effective, and more than just writing about it, but actually showing people and playing it and connecting to them on a different level was really, really cool. So I'm definitely planning on doing a lot more of that.
So what we're really running tight here. So I guess we need to unfortunately bring this to a close and wrap up. So what's your parting thought for today to help people to utilize music in applying that to business planning?
I guess kind of just going along with the theme of what we've been talking about, don't be afraid of it, right? I mean, if you think it's kind of taboo to bring these creative arts or different thoughts into business, it's not. Combine them, use them, talk about them, and you'll find that you'll have more success, and you'll like your job a lot more. So that's really, I think, the parting thought.
But then that, which is a good role for life,
Yeah,
if you like
exactly.
something that's good and you're not harming anybody, then go for it.
Then go for it, right? I mean, and that's it. And so that's what I'm hoping to do, is kind of break some of the mold of this kind of stuffiness that we see in these business books, and say, hey, have a little fun with it. Don't be afraid. And I think it's kind of cool when you see the result.
Cool. And lastly, give a plug for your book. You can read the title. I pulled a hernia last go round, so I can't read it.
The official title is Creative Strategy Generation, so we'll leave it there. But you can go. It's on Amazon.com. You could also go to my website, bobcaporale.com. I won't ask people to spell it, but composingstrategy.com is even better. That's the official website for the book, so composingstrategy.com. People can get to just about anywhere from there.
Wonderful. Hey, Bob, I appreciate your time. Keep it rocking, and if you roll into the Philly area, give us a shout. We're in South Jersey.
I'll do it, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good luck. Keep it rocking.
All right.
And with that, that wraps up this segment of Greenberg News. We're going to take a brief break. Be right back after these messages.